Hello, hello. I'm Debbie Danford from craftiercreations.blogspot.com. I hope everybody's having a great Tuesday. I'm popping in today with a quick card that I made over the weekend. So I wrapped up my first retreat this last weekend. It was awesome. Everybody had a great time. We had a smaller group, but we already have people signed up for the next one. So if you're interested in info on that, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. The registration will officially start. Excuse me, I need to grab a drink of my tea really quick. The registration will officially start December 1st, but the people that were at the retreat got early access to that. But the other thing I want to throw out there real quick is Stampin' Up! Is offering a great joining offer this month. It is the best deal, I think, is $35 plus tax, free shipping, and you get $125 in product. Then if those other items that are on your list, because we all know we probably have more than $125 worth of items on our list, you can go out and turn around and put in your own order, new order, your demo, and you will earn 20% discount. That's the best case scenario. The other option is to pay the $99 plus tax, free shipping, and you get $189 in free product. So both of them give you the same dollar amount in free product. It's just a matter of what you want to spend. But the $35, that is the best deal that I have ever seen. And I would love to have you join my team. We're the Northwest Crafty Stampers. We abbreviate the Northwest and it's NW Crafty Stampers, but we are the Northwest Crafty Stampers, but you don't have to live in the Northwest to join our team. I have teammates that have lived here and have moved away and moved back, and some have moved away again. So, things happen in life. All right, so today I'm coming to you with a card that I made over the weekend. I was working on designing stuff for my monthly club. Then I found out on Saturday, thank you, Hillary, for pointing this out, because I had not paid attention to that, because when I had looked at it originally, it was all good to go. The designer series paper, Traditions, now I can't remember, Traditions of Christmas, I think is what it's called. These are the B-sides of it, is not available. So I'm going to do a little bit of a pivot. Some of the cards I designed, I am still going to go ahead and use in monthly club. I'm just going to be cutting and chopping a lot of my paper that I have left over. And then I've got a few other projects designed that we don't necessarily need paper. But I decided today to go ahead and do this layout, which I thought was really cute. It uses the Christmas Greenery stamp set, and it uses this one right here. And it's actually a little gift card holder. So your little gift card will fit in here. I'm going to just bring one in. You can look at the number all you want. It doesn't work anymore. This one's old. And this fits right here. As you can see, it all lines up underneath there, and then you can't even see it from this side. Isn't that clever? Yes, I can't remember where I saw this one. It's been floating around in my little to-do list. And so today we are going to use the Floral, I want to say it's called Floral Delight paper. So let's go ahead and let me move some things out of the way. And I've already cut everything, but I will show you. So we're going to use this Floral Delight paper here, but I'm going to use the B-sides of it. I am one of those that I really sometimes try to focus on the B-sides too, because I feel like sometimes the focus is so much on the A side, as I like to call it A side, B side, but sometimes our B-sides are just as pretty, if not prettier, and sometimes you can stamp on them. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. This is our card base. It is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of old olive. Then we have a 2 3/4 by 8 1/2 piece of old olive, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Let me go ahead and burnish that. Really good. Okay, this is going to be the little flap. Whoops, we're going this direction, Debbie. This is going to make this part right here, okay? We have a piece of designer series paper, and I chose this piece here that has old olive on it, and this one is 3 by 4. Now, when I originally made it here, this piece was the whole piece, 4 by 5 1/4. But that's kind of a waste. You don't really need to cut that much designer series paper because this is going to lay on top and you don't see that bottom portion anyway. So I've kind of changed a few things up a little bit there. Let me go ahead and bring in my glue, and we're just going to glue this one down. Okay. Maybe we're going to glue it down. There it goes. I finally had to kick the heat on yesterday in my craft room. Although it warmed up in the afternoon, it was a little chilly in here, and that's probably my glue. Probably it's like, it's cold in here. It's not too bad this morning, but I'm also dressed a little bit warmer. It's going to be a beautiful day here today in the Pacific Northwest, but our mornings are definitely starting out chillier. Okay, then we're going to attach this here, and I go right. It should fit if everything is scored, cut correctly. Everything will fit from end to end, and then you line it up at the bottom. Now, you can use glue, adhesive, whatever your choice is. Let's do the right side. Yeah. Or you can use tear and tape. I mean, it doesn't matter. And I'm just going around the edges here, and then we're going to go ahead and attach that to here. Now this card is so easy to make. It was like, wow, this went together so quickly. I had more problems trying to figure out what I wanted to stamp there. And I didn't put a greeting on this one, if you notice that. You certainly could, depending on what you're making. Like this is, yes, in a Christmas themed set, but I feel like it easily could be a birthday card or anything you want it to be. It doesn't have to be necessarily Christmas. Okay, we are going to layer this piece of designer series paper, which is 2.5 by 4, will go on here. Before I put that down, we are going to put some ribbon on it. But I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to color the ribbon in Old Olive. We don't have, excuse me, we don't have an Old Olive ribbon right now. And I was trying to decide, like, what do I want to do here? So I decided we would just color it. I'm just going to cut a piece off. So I think this will be plenty. I cut off like 9.5 inches, which is going to be probably plenty to use there. And I couldn't decide if I wanted to do Lemon Lolly or the Old Olive, but I think I'm going to go ahead and go Old Olive. Now, my brush tip on this one is already taken a beating, so I'm not really being all that careful here. Normally, I would say you need to be careful with your brush tip, but mine, and this set of markers, I think, also is getting to the end, so, or at least this light one, which is the colors, the ones I pull to the most are the light ones. Sometimes the dark are just too dark. Now, when I'm coloring ribbon, I always start with the lighter Stampin' Blends marker. That way, if you want it darker, you can go back over it again, or you can use the dark. But I always start with the light. You can always add more. You just can't take off what you put on there. So keep that in mind. And in this case, this ribbon, it does bleed through really well, but I'm going to go ahead and flip it and do the other side of it too. And I think that's going to go quite well, honestly. Let me see here. I'm trying to decide if I do want to color it with the dark, because it's a little, I think I am. I think I am going to pull in the dark. Now you can also go over it with the same lighter one again, and that does affect it too. That does change it. But you see the difference here between the light and the dark? Yeah, I think this will probably be a little bit better. So we also have all our kits are on sale up to 30% off, and that ends tomorrow. So if you're, And there's some new, and that even is the new kits that just came out this month, and they are all Christmas kits. I don't have one to show you, otherwise I would show you the Christmas kits. I will be getting them in the mail in an order that's coming in. I think I get it Thursday, I think it is. So hopefully I get it, and then maybe I can show those. So yeah, our kits are on sale. It's a great deal. Okay, yeah, I think that's going to look much better. Like it. Okay, let's move this out of the way for a minute anyway. And let's go ahead and attach some adhesive to here so we can attach our... Now, you see what happened there? I ripped my paper a little bit. That happens sometimes if you put too much pressure when you're using the Stamp and Seal. I like the Stamp and Seal Plus, and it's just me. I'm heavy-handed here a little bit, I guess, with my adhesive, which is kind of funny because when I use a blending brush, I'm not. So who knows? But, okay. And then I'm just going to add a piece going right across the center here. And now sometimes after you've colored it, the ribbon doesn't always like to stick to the tape until it dries a little bit. And I certainly did not give it any time to dry there, but that's okay. I think we'll be fine. Okay, so there's that. This is going to go right here on, this is our front flap, and it's going to go right here. Okay. If I can put it on straight today. I had it. There we go. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to take, and it's this, no, that's our inside piece. These two. Okay, so now we have this other piece of Old Olive, 2.5 by 4 1/4, and then we have a layering piece of basic white that's 2 1/4 by 4, which will go on here. Before we put it on there, I'm just going to slide some things out of the way. We're going to bring this in, and I'm going to grab my memento. We are going to stamp our little bouquet here in Memento Black. And of course you could stamp it in like a Mossy Meadow. Dark color would look really nice. And sometimes I've been using the Secret Sea as a dark one to stamp with, but you know, you can do it any way you want. Stamp this in the center here. Okay, there's that. And now we're going to do a little bit of coloring. We're going to, and I'm not like the professional blending, Stamp and Blends coloring person. I am a very generic, just get it done. I don't spend a whole lot of time on it. I take the dark and kind of go with where the artist that created this, the concept artist, and I kind of go with their highlighted areas. So basically down the middle in this case. And with my two brushes, Stamp and Blends, I'm using the bullet point right now, only because the other tips have been well loved. Let's just say that. But either end works. It doesn't matter. Everybody always has, you know, a little bit of a preference of what they like better. Okay, so we're just coloring our leaf, doing a little bit of the blending of that dark in there. And of course, you don't have to do that. You could do it all one color and call it good. You can be fancy and do several colors of green if you want. But with these little leaves, I feel like it's really not necessary. Okay. And then what I did here is I just took this and did this kind of thing. I first had left it blank, and then I thought, oh, it kind of just didn't look right. I felt like I needed to add something. So I'm just kind of going over those little hash marks is what I think they are, but they're a leaf. Okay, so there's that. Now let's bring in our lemon lolly is what I'm using, because that's the yellow that's actually in the paper, even though we're using most of the sides that have green. And I'm just going around the edges a little bit with the dark. Again, no right or wrong. And you see, I'm not even, wasn't like I was putting a lot of effort into how I was coloring it. Oh yeah, this one's not very good either. Definitely my brush tips take the beating. But that's okay. There's 2 tips, and I love that there's 2 tips. Okay. And then I think we'll color the ribbon with the yellow too, but I think I'll use the dark just to give us a little bit of contrast here. I mean, you can do the ribbon in a different color if you really want. Okay, easy peasy. All right, now this is just going to layer on here. I mean, I know this time of the year we are really like holiday Christmas card focused because that's what's coming up, and we all like to send out our holiday cards. But I felt like this little bouquet doesn't necessarily scream Christmas, so it could be used. I mean, people do have birthdays this time of the year. I don't. I know I have several people that do. Now we're adding adhesive only to the bottom portion, because you want to be able to open this flap up. So what I did is we're going to center it right here, and I just kind of put my finger here and mark it, and then I just come down a little bit, and then I know to start my adhesive right here. And I'm just putting some strips right along right here. And again, you could use tear and tape if you wanted. And then we're just going to attach this right here in the center. I am just eyeballing it. I don't usually measure like that, but that could just be me. Now we have a little piece we have left over here that I saved for right here. And you don't have to add this extra little piece, but I always think it looks really nice to kind of finish it off right there. And then trim up your ribbon a little bit. Okay, so there's all of that. Now on the inside, this piece is going to go right here. This is where you're going to write your thank you, happy birthday, whatever you're wanting to tell someone. And you could stamp and or put a piece of designer series paper on this one. Normally I do on the inside, but I didn't, only because we're going to put this piece right here for the gift card holder. So I kind of decided just to leave that plain, but you could stamp a little bit of that stamp. Now, when you add this piece here, you only want to go, this one must be getting really close to empty. Okay, let me bring in the other one and see if it's any better. I'm telling you, I think it's because it's cold in my craft room. I mean, it's not really that cold. I'm going to do it off to the side in case I get a big old blop, because I only want it. It started to come out. I know it's not empty. I may have to get out a new one. I can feel there's glue in there. Ah, I think it's finally coming out. Okay. Maybe we have it. All right. I'll see if that'll fix it. Got to do some repairs on my glue here. Okay, I guess I'm done playing with this one, and let me grab a new one. Give me a second here. Well, maybe I'll grab a new one. Now out of the reserve. My to-go travel one. And I know there's glue in here because I used it over the weekend. So this one I know works. Okay. There we go. As my husband would say, now we're cooking with gas. Okay. You're just putting a little bit along the bottom and the two sides. I probably have a little more than I really wanted, but it'll work. And then this lines up across the bottom and on the two sides, just like that. And if you cut it right, it should fit just exactly right. And if you have to trim it off the edge a little bit, that's okay. Yeah, see, mine's a little long right there. That's okay. I'm going to trim it off. So I'm just going to flip this over. And I see it hanging just a tiny little bit. My ribbon's in the way there. Come on, ribbon. There. I don't know why I was making that so difficult. But... Okay. And there's that. Our little gift card will tuck in there. And now let's grab. Let me see what I can grab for some bling. Now this is Old Olive. Now this goes with this suite. So the Old Olive will go perfectly with that. So let's just go ahead and all I did is put one little guy kind of right here in the middle of the bow. But that's because this paper was a little different. You could put more on there if you wanted to, but I think I'm going to leave it just like that. All right. So there's our awesome gift card holder. Just think of the combinations that you could do with paper. Like I said, this is the B-sides, but I think it turned out awesome, and it doesn't even have Christmas written on it at all. And you can add any kind of greeting. I thought about just putting a greeting across here instead, but I kept it no greeting on the front this time. Then it can be a anything you want card, but it has a gift card holder. Now, if you don't want this to be a gift card holder, it doesn't have to be. You could put a piece of paper in here layered if you want it, or you could just leave it. It does not have to be a gift card holder, but it is a cute way to turn it into a gift card holder. All right, I hope you enjoyed today's project, and I will be back again on Thursday with something else with the Christmas greenery. Haven't decided what yet, but I'm going to come up with something else. Who knows? Maybe we'll pull in a different designer series paper and make something else. I don't know yet. But I will be back using the Christmas greenery. That's what I'm highlighting for this week. And I will see you guys all again on Thursday. Have a great week. Bye, guys.